This is a 1999 Mercedes SLK 230 with the compressor or supercharger. I noticed that the temperature gauge started fluctuating as I was driving. Has about 108,000 miles on it, so that tells me that the water pump is probably starting to go bad. There's a weep hole on there that, you know, when it starts to weep, that's another good sign, but it's kind of covered by this is it here, by this belt, so I can't quite see it. But the way it's acting, and with the miles it has, I figured, hey, it's time to change it anyway. While I'm there, I'm going to change the radiator cap and the thermostat. You know, some of the prep things to do is, of course, watch YouTube videos, see if you can figure things out. That's what I did. One of the thing is when you're looking for parts, try and support local, but sometimes it's just cheaper. You know, the cap here I was able to get for $8 locally. The thermostat here, I think it was $25 locally, and that was the cheapest. But the water pump here, this is well, I found it for $36 on the internet, and that's a lot cheaper than I found it locally. And it pretty much has everything that you need in there. And of course, it says it's 100% guaranteed. So one of the things that with Mercedes, you got to be careful of plastic parts because they do tend to break. But you also want to take a scan of take the new part, lay it on a box and trace it out, and then punch holes where all the bolts will go. Because you're going to find that there's different length bolts in here, and you want to be able to put them in the proper spot, and this is the best way I know of to remember. And as you can see, I kind of have it laid out exactly how it is there, so it's going to be quite easy to do. You want to loosen these 4 bolts before you take the fan off, because this will hold the bolts so that they don't, you know, you can get torque on them. Now these are 10 millimeters. And what I do is I take my wrench and I pop it on there. And I pop it on there. And then, you know, that's a little bit too much. But if I take my other wrench, my socket wrench here, and I put it on the lip. There we go. Give myself some space. There we go. Make sure all that's on there. And now I can torque it just like that. And I don't have to move the fan shroud. I'll be able to get all these bolts loose doing that. Quite easy, quite effective. And then, once you get those done, then you can loosen the bolt by taking a 10 millimeter here. And just put it on the pulley here. And then when you push it this way, you can see the belt loosens right up. See that? So that'll be nice and easy. I'm gonna do a little more prep work, you know, like drain the fluids and whatnot, and we'll be back. All right, so the thermostat housing that I bought didn't quite fit. The top of it fit, but the gasket was designed to go on the outside instead of on the inside. So this being a Mercedes, I'm gonna go ahead and risk it and leave the old one on there. Now, to get the pulley off of this, you have to loosen the bottom bolt, and to do the bottom bolt, you've got to get to this tensioner to loosen it. And in order to do that, you got to take the fan shroud out, which actually isn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. It's just basically 2 clips, and it lifts right out. You can even leave the connector still connected. So there you go. So now I'm going to take the pump off. Wish me luck. As you can see, we got the old water pump off. The bad thing is the aftermarket part that I thought I got such a great deal on doesn't fit. If you look at the one that came off, this depth here is deeper on this one, and this hose here is longer on this one. But it definitely was ready to be replaced. There's rust in there, and unfortunately that's not a good thing. Car does have low miles, but it is old, and when you have old, you tend to have rust. So anyway, we're going to try and get that ordered, and we'll do another video eventually.